hard. All right, hello YouTubes. This should be working on the YouTube side of the house now, I hope. So this will have us streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Alpha Geek Radio today, as long as my computer doesn't blow up in the process. So fingers crossed, and we are going to start the show right now.
I'm Steven.
I'm Chris.
I'm Stargate Pioneer.
And I'm the French-Canadian sensation.
And we're the official GonnaGeek.com podcast, a podcast member of the Gonna Geek Network.
Just like the one you're listening to now.
The opinions expressed are those of each individual host.
Check out all the other podcasts
At GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
And get ready.
Because geekiness begins in
3,
2,
1.
Let's Geek!
Stand by for a brand new episode of All Things Good and Nerdy, brought to you by the Gonna Geek Network. Bringing you the latest nerdy news and geekdom, here are the hosts of the show, Anthony.
No pants, all bacon and dick butts.
Naki.
Anthony, you need to get laid.
Willie.
I don't need boobs to like a movie.
Chris.
So when Chris doesn't know how to transition to a new topic because he's flustered, he just hits the button on the soundboard.
And sometimes some special guests.
As Magneto once said, "Ha ha ha, welcome to die!"
If you're a kid and listening, you rock and your parents are awful.
A brand new ATGN starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 213 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast, where I may just accidentally blow up my computer if I'm not careful. For those wondering what I mean by that, it is because I am streaming this using OBS to Facebook Live as an experiment this week. It seemingly is working. I'm not noticing any processor issues or bandwidth issues yet, but we'll see as the show progresses how much this decides to blow up and hate me. So fingers crossed that it doesn't, and if it continues to like me, we'll continue to do this simulcast each week. Yeah, technical stuff is great.
I got a little chop on his voice, and Chris' video stuttered once. What did you see, Willie?
I'm still seeing a little bit of lag in the video, but voices are coming through. His voice did crackle for me a bit as well.
Well, that might be a sign right there.
Might be a little degraded, but it doesn't seem too bad.
But I think... Well, thanks, Facebook. Fucking Zuckerberg.
Well, it is... there's a lot of bandwidth being used to do this right now because I'm sending a 1080p stream to Facebook right now. I may step it down to 720 in the future so that it is a little less problematic.
Is anybody watching this on Facebook? Are you watching that as well?
Not that I have seen yet, but I did also direct anyone watching on Facebook to go to geeks.live to participate in the live chat because I do not have the Facebook chat up. Right now we have 2 unique viewers for the Facebook Live message or Facebook Live video. That doesn't mean they're still here necessarily, but if you are, thanks for joining us. And welcome to our little podcast called All Things Good and Nerdy that records live every Sunday. We only have 3 out of the 4 hosts this week as Naki is internetless. We found out.
She's also nutless, but today she's internetless.
A moment of silence for our good friend Naki as we feel bad about her internet loss. Has the moment passed?
I think so.
All right, but don't worry. We still got 3 out of the 4 of us. You got myself, Chris. You've got 1, Anthony Bachman.
Yep.
And the new Naki himself, Willie D. Nelson. I'm told he's a big fan of Hydra Cap.
We all know that. No Hell Hydra.
Had to be done, I'm sorry.
But we all know new Naki's better than regular Naki.
Ooh. Those fighting words.
Wow. Maybe.
She's tiny. I can take her.
Oh, and guess what, Willie? We'll be talking about it this week.
Oh, yay. I'm so excited.
Hey, I ain't going to talk all that shit and then not read it.
I'm so excited.
Unlike most of the internet.
Before we start on to the podcast, though, if you are new to us, thanks for tuning in, because like I said, we are trying out on Facebook Live today. If you're a Facebook Live viewer, you have a slightly different view than the Hangouts viewers because the video I'm sending has the chat room and the Hangout both in them. So, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Go team. we'll see how well that works. Maybe in the future we go to doing it this way and then going to YouTube Live instead of using Hangouts on air. I'm not sure yet.
Options.
There are options, and they're only slightly scary. But speaking of things that are slightly scary, let's move into the news of the week.
Live from the ATGN studios on the internet, it's the news of the week.
I'll be honest, I had no idea how to segue that, so I just made something up and went with it.
I wasn't going to step on it because that was like your best segue in a month.
That's because you guys always step on my segues.
But see, now you stepped on it by talking about it.
Well, I mean, I'm a fan of the old segues where I don't know what to do, so I press a button.
Like
I
this
like
one.
that.
Yeah, those are never going to go away. They're still here.
Penis.
Robot
Well,
penis.
On that note, we don't have any robot penis news this week because Naki's not here. I get scared when Willie sticks his tongue out like that. I really do.
Be afraid,
I
Chris.
got
Be afraid.
I'm afraid of lots of things, and I found that podcasting just makes it worse at times.
It's about.
Well, that's not really good
About
since you
8
podcast
inches.
like 18 hours a week.
Yeah. Yeah. So, did you guys hear the breaking news that came out mid last week that Marvel Studios might have their Captain Marvel now?
Yes, I heard it was rumored.
So there is a rumor. It has been reported by a variety of geek blogs and even Variety magazine that Marvel Studios is in talks with Oscar winner Brie Larson to play the role of Captain Marvel in the upcoming Captain Marvel film, which will probably come after Infinity War, if I recall correctly.
I think that's where, the way it was set
Now,
up in
can
the
you remind me
timeline.
who Brie Larson is?
So, you might have known her. She won a Best Actress Oscar for The Room. She has also been in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. There's other stuff I'm having brain farts in. Did you ever watch the
Who
show
was
The
she in
League
that?
on FX? She was Evie in Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, she was the
Yes.
au pair.
Yeah.
Au pair.
And she was the au pair in The League. I can see if my
Okay.
screen share will work, and if it is working, which it seems to be, I can show you the article I'm talking about, which includes a picture of Brie Larson from the Oscars where she won. Yeah, she's in that movie, Willie.
Yeah, but who is she in it?
Evie, I think, is the character's name.
In which movie?
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
No, she's the ex-girlfriend that's in charge of the awesome band and is now
Okay.
dating
Oh.
the vegan.
She is also in 21 Jump Street. And she was, like we mentioned earlier, if you watch The League, she was Baby Ruxin's au pair.
Damn it, I can't think of her name.
That was a
I'm trying to find her
one-episode
name.
thing, and
It
I
It was like a
remember.
3-episode thing, man.
was
She
like 3
banging
episodes.
Pete.
Cause,
Oh, it was?
yeah, she
Yeah.
was banging Pete and then ended up banging Ralphie.
Oh, yeah.
Because they
That was
tried
like
to do
3
the,
years ago. I
what was it?
watched
They
that
tried to
one.
do the Eiffel Tower.
Yes, they did the Eiffel Tower. Draftsman has some more background in the chat room. He said Brie Larson, pretty girl, blonde Oscar winner. She played a girl that says on cake while wearing something like hot pants on United States of Terror. I never saw that myself.
Yeah, she was Envy Adams.
Envy
was
Adams,
the character
that's
on
what it
Scott Pilgrim.
What was I saying? Evie. I'm an idiot.
Evie, Envy, close. Yeah,
Yeah, when
Envy
you said
Adams.
originally the ex-girlfriend, I thought you meant the evil ex-girlfriend. I was like, wait,
No.
she was the lesbian one?
No. Scott's ex-girlfriend.
Scott's
not
ex-girlfriend. So this news
Mary Elizabeth Winstead's ex-girlfriend.
This news broke late last week, and this weekend is Wizard World Philadelphia, where they have basically a lot of the leads from the MCU are there and on panels. And Chris Evans was asked about the rumor that Brie Larson might be joining the MCU as Captain Marvel. He goes, "I just heard about that. I really hope that happens. I love Brie Larson. We did a movie together back in 2009, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World."
Mhm.
He continued to talk about her and said, "I cannot say enough about Brie Larson. I think she's phenomenal, and I really hope that happens." So she's got Captain America's vote of confidence.
Yeah, and I mean, and she's an Oscar winner.
Yeah, she won
And
an Oscar.
she's hot. She's literally played roles that literally she was only there because she was hot, like the au pair. So it's not like Captain Marvel won't look good.
So I kind of see
And
a
she's
point.
got Oscar-winning, acting ability.
Yeah, so I see Suncast says in the chat room, I don't know if I'm supposed to be impressed or excited about this. For me, I'm more just happy that they've started on casting rumors for this movie because there was a lot of internet scuttlebutt that this movie might not actually happen. So the fact
Yeah.
that there's talk of a director and a production time frame and an actor to play the role gives me more confidence that a Captain Marvel film is actually going to happen. My personal pick for Captain Marvel has always been Katie Sackhoff, who was Starbuck on Battlestar Galactica. I don't think it's going to happen, though.
But yeah, between Longmire and all the other stuff she's doing, what I didn't understand was there seemed to be a whole bunch of internet negativity about the casting rumor of Brie Larson, but no specific reason why.
It's the internet, man. Everything's negative anymore, it seems like. I haven't heard a ton of yes, no, this is the greatest or this is the worst from folks. It's just been kind of, oh, that's still happening? I guess she'd be good in that role. I expected the internet to blow up a lot more when Captain Marvel casting rumors started coming out.
Yeah, see, I'm definitely glad there's at least rumors at this point. Well, yeah, and they added it on her IMDb.
Well, IMDb is never...
I know,
don't
but
treat
usually
IMDb
they don't
like
go,
it's the gospel.
usually they're not super fast on just rumored casting. But yeah, they've already got it on there.
IMDb is my Bible.
Is it now?
Pretty much.
I swear.
Swear.
I don't know. I saw somebody did a Photoshop of her head on one of the bodies, like the same way they did with Katie Sackhoff. I could see it. I think she'd be awesome.
Well, if I can find it again, I'll pull it up on screen share since it seems to be working today. I actually had, in one of those articles, there was a Photoshop of that, and we'll see if this is working because Google Hangouts sometimes hates me. You should be getting it now, which is a screenshot of Brie Larson photoshopped on top of Captain Marvel standing next to Captain America from Age of Ultron. Doesn't look bad.
Yeah,
She's got the look.
I would pay to see that.
She's a little young for Captain Marvel, is my only thought. Because remember, Carol Danvers is a major in the Air Force.
Yeah, but they could start her off earlier in her military career.
That's true too. I hope they
She
don't.
doesn't have to be a major.
Yeah, I hope they don't take away the military background from Captain Marvel.
They better not. That'd be a really dumb thing. Because yeah, it's one of the biggest parts of that character is the fact that she is military, and that's
Right.
why she looks at things differently than a lot of superheroes.
That is true. Let's see. We actually have some comments on the Facebook Live thing. Evidently, it might be freezing up here and there, and I apologize if it is. Supposedly, it froze on me at one point, but that might be when I was doing the screen share because Google Hangouts on Air does not always like to screen share.
True.
No.
It does not. So, anyone who is watching on Facebook Live, again, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you'd like to leave comments in the chat room, head on over to geeks.live and you can pop out the chat room and mess with that.
Yeah, it'll be easier that way. Because
It will
it's
be
our
easier.
first try. Bear with us.
This is a beta test of using Facebook Live, and you can blame Steven and SP for making me want to do this because they've started putting a lot of other podcasts on Facebook Live at the same time.
I always blame Steven and SP.
Well,
Have they had problems?
They have not, but they have a slightly different setup for how they do things, and they're not using Hangouts on Air, which is a bit of a bandwidth hog at times.
Assholes.
That was my concern, is the bandwidth issues with Hangouts on Air, which has seemingly not been terrible yet. And I'm sure viewers are like, Chris, stop talking about this Facebook Live. We don't care. You're just somewhere else on the internet. Go on to another story. So, in that vein, Anthony, what do you got for News of the Week?
I believe I have more casting news.
What? There's more?
There's more. Mine's pure rumor. I just saw it today, and we both looked and couldn't find another confirmation article. But there is a rumored article that the Divergent dude lands Bond role, which it's funny because that's actually how the article is titled over on the Portly Gazelle. And it actually says your news and gossip delivered fresh. So yeah, take it as rumor. They say he's confirmed as the new Bond, but you know we've been hearing Bond casting rumors for a while. And we had Idris Elba, Tom Hardy, Tom Hiddleston, and apparently Hiddleston was actually in talks. And this is the first time I'm seeing Theo James's name brought up. But allegedly he might be up for the role. For anybody that might not recognize him, in the Divergent series, he was, I think his character's name is Four. He's the one that doesn't go by his real name because his parents are famous or whatever. Can't remember what else he's been in. If you've seen those movies, he's not a bad actor. He looks really young to be stepping into the Bond role. But, I mean, there's a shot of him in a suit at a premiere, and the guy looks good in a suit, so I don't see anything wrong with it, but I don't think it's really gonna like turn the world over and make people super excited if it is true.
Yeah, I don't know. Suncast in the chat room says Theo James, he is a good actor, but I don't know about him as Bond, and that's what a lot of the internet scuttlebutt seems to be. And bear in mind, there is no confirmation on any of this stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different gossip sites.
This one's pure rumor.
So we're not sure what's going there. It wouldn't necessarily be out of line for that because the recent trend for the modern Bond is to go with not necessarily the huge name and allow them to grow into that role. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Daniel Craig was a huge name before he became James Bond. He'd done other work, but...
Well, he was pretty big, but I think it was the same type of thing where a bunch of people were like, well, Daniel Craig's great, but I don't know if I see him as Bond. Because, I mean, between, like, Layer Cake and all the other Matthew Vaughn films, like, yeah, he'd done a bunch of great movies, but nobody really pictured him in the Bond character. And, yeah, he's fucking a great Bond, so it could be the exact same type of thing again.
So I was interested in Hiddleston as Bond. Suncast says the same thing. I'd be fine with Hiddleston as Bond. And Hiddleston was asked about it at Wizard World Philly. And let me paraphrase because I don't have the exact quote. He said he doesn't know anything about official announcements or anything, but he likes all the fan enthusiasm there is for it. And he is pretty much flattered by the fan enthusiasm for him as James Bond. So he didn't say anything one way or another about him being Bond, but he has been rumored in the role for a while. So I wouldn't be shocked.
Everybody that's seen the show The Night Manager, I guess everybody that's watched that has said that it's very Bond-like, and that Hiddleston's character in it leads to where if his next role was Bond, it would be a very easy stepping stone.
Right, so I've been saying that because The Night Manager, for those that aren't aware, was a 6-part miniseries on AMC that was basically based off of John LeClaire's spy book, if I remember correctly. And Tom Hiddleston is the lead and has to be kind of a double agent mole spy type of character, and he has some fight scenes. He gets the love scenes because the ladies love Tom Hiddleston in this. And you can tell, how did my girlfriend put it? You can tell it was a female director because Tom Hiddleston showed without his shirt a lot, or something to that effect.
Nice. I heard House is fucking fantastic on as the villain.
Oh man, yeah, Hugh Laurie, he's an awesome actor to begin with, but in the villainous role, he is very good.
What type of accent does he have in that? Does he get to talk with his normal British?
He uses his native British accent.
It's so weird to see him do that because his American accent is so fucking good.
It really is. He's good.
Like, I'd been watching him on House and had no clue about any of his previous like comedy shows and stuff from the UK. I'd never watched like Fry and Laurie and all that at the time. And when I started watching House, I thought the guy was just spectacular. And the first time he came on Leno, it blew my fucking mind when he opened his mouth and a British accent came out. Because I had just assumed he was American because of how good his English accent, his American accent is.
Funny enough, that's how he got the role, I think.
I wouldn't doubt it. He's fucking spectacular.
They said now, if you believe all the rumors and stuff that came out about that when it happened, I guess he was on set of some movie and filmed his audition in like the bathroom, and he put on an American accent, and the guys that were making the house show were like, we don't want another British guy pretending to be American, and he had known that when he sent it in an American accent. They didn't know he was British until he showed up for the in-person interview, I guess. They're like, oh, well, we like you.
That's why so many American TV shows, so many American movies, it's just British leads everywhere, man. It's the next Brit invasion. And Aussies, yeah.
So I got to ask Willie, what do you think? Do you think Tom Hiddleston would make a good Bond, or what about this dude from The Maze Runner? Or do you just not give a crap about Bond?
Divergent, not The Maze Runner. Whatever. The Maze Runner kid's still in the hospital. Leave him alone.
What's the difference?
Yeah. Okay.
But,
there's a huge difference.
Really,
Brian Stiles from Teen Wolf.
I can't remember the last Bond movie I actually saw. I have never even seen a Bond movie in theaters. It's whatever to me. I think I remember watching Casino Royale once and kind of fell asleep through it. It could go either way, whatever.
So you're in the same boat as my girlfriend, who's like, I've never seen a Bond. She's like, I don't care about it. She goes, but if Tom Hiddleston's Bond, I want to see one. I was like, oh, I see how this goes.
She just wants to see more Hiddleston.
She wants to see more of Tom Hiddleston, exactly. I was like, okay. Whatever, I get to watch James Bond, so it works out for everyone.
But I think he would add more comedy to it. I think if he did a Bond, I think Loki Bond would be, like, snarky.
Bond is not comedy anymore, though, really. They get the occasional smart remark, but that's about it. I mean...
See, I think he's the type of actor he would want to try to push back towards some of the Roger Moore stuff. which I liked. I liked growing up. Some of the Roger Moore stuff was fucking hilarious, but he still kicked ass.
Maybe.
I like the line. I liked growing up.
The Roger Moore stuff hasn't aged as well as some of the other stuff. Like, you can still go and watch a Connery Bond from the 60s, and it's awesome. But some of the cornball stuff in the Roger Moore Bonds didn't age as well. That's what I think, at least.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, a lot of the jokey 80 Bonds films didn't age very well.
Well, yeah, that's fair, too. That's pretty fair.
Because a lot of 80s films just don't age very well, in all honesty, sadly.
Also fair. Before we move on to another story here, the question for Anthony in the chat room, the Draftsman is asking, have you read Thor? The design of Loki is Hiddleston.
Nice. I haven't read the new Thor, but I don't doubt it. It's funny. I was reading one of the comics I was reading yesterday, and literally one of the art panels, you can take it and see that it's a photo grab of I think it's Brad Pitt. And then when I flipped through the rest of the issue, I realized the artist had used Brad Pitt as the inspiration for that specific character throughout the entire comic. So sometimes comic artists do that. They'll pick an actor and then make that actor, their artistic reference to get easier photos of somebody when they're trying to, put a character into a certain position. Because if you pick a famous actor, you've got, tons of photo reference if you go look at their movie library. The best one ever was I can't think of his name. Derek Robertson did. He used Simon Pegg for his reference for one of the main characters in the comic book The Boys. But when he did it, nobody in America knew who Simon Pegg was. It was before Shaun of the Dead, and so he perfectly nailed. I can't remember the character's name, but he made him look exactly like Simon Pegg with a goatee. And they were, they went through like a year of the comic, and all of a sudden Shaun of the Dead come out, and then everybody knows who Simon Pegg is. He's like, shit, I had such a good reference that nobody knew.
Well, do you remember in the comic book Wanted how they made the characters look? The two main characters?
Yeah, almost every. Yeah, Wee Huey. There we go. Draftsman got it. I knew it was Wee something, but I couldn't think of his name. Yeah, Wanted every character in there. Yeah, I think the roommates are burning breakfast.
I was like, whose house is burning down?
Not the bacon. Not the bacon.
Save the
bacon. I'll take crispy bacon. Yeah. It's all right. But yeah, Wanted is another one of those. J.G. Jones used a different art.
Yeah, made him look like Eminem and Halle Berry.
Eminem, Halle Berry.
We got Angelina Jolie and James McAvoy.
Yeah. But yeah, J.G. Jones used a specific actor for every character in that book. Sometimes that's how comic artists get, nice solid reference, and then you can use you Google an actor, and then you get every photo from their publicity stills, every photo from the movies they're in. You can get a lot of different shots, different angles, different costumes, different lighting. It's a lot easier than Googling. I need a random person with a certain type of shadow on their face turned 3/4.
Well, I mean, and let's also bear in mind one of the most famous ones in recent memory is when they did the Ultimates comic book in the Ultimate Marvel Universe. Brian Hitch modeled Nick Fury after Samuel L. Jackson straight up, and you go nowadays, and Nick Fury is Sam Jackson in everything.
Yeah, if anything, Sam Jackson owes Brian Hitch like a $50 million paycheck, because he wouldn't have that Marvel contract if it wasn't for Brian Hitch. That was literally all Brian Hitch.
I mean, and it was done.
How about make Nick Fury Sam Jackson?
It was done as a punchline too. If you go and read one of the books, like, Nick, you look kind of like Samuel L. Jackson. He's like, who?
Yeah. And it's not like movies. And if you go look at the original Ultimates too, he didn't make it was a flat out representation of Sam Jackson. Brian Hitch didn't make Nick Fury black. He made Nick Fury Sam Jackson.
Just clarification, Draftsman said he's not knocking it, just saying it's freaky how good the likeness was.
Oh yeah, and some artists are great at that stuff. That's one of the things I've never been good at. Likeness is tough, and some guys they can do it so well and with so few lines, it's ridiculous. I know Mike Deodato Jr. He does in all of when he was doing all the Spider-Man and the Dark Avengers books, he did I think it was Tommy Lee Jones was who he used for Norman Osborn.
Oh yeah, you can.
And so it was weird. It was weird to see Tommy Lee Jones with the cornrows.
Yeah.
Because he had to have the Osborn hair. So you had all these photos that you could look at and go, oh, that's an image from frickin' The Fugitive, but it's Tommy Lee Jones with cornrows.
Yeah, exactly. It was weird but
Huh.
entertaining at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yep.
But Willie, did you have anything for news or topic item this week before we go into other stuff?
I can bring up a little something. Let's see how well this goes. Well, we all saw that Muhammad Ali just passed away.
That is
And
great.
that got me to thinking, and I also just watched. Yeah, I also just watched Deadpool. Should we have a Deadpool for the next celebrity that passes us?
That seems like bad karma.
Because I know Stanley. Because I know Stanley's getting on up there.
Don't say it. Don't you fucking say Stanley and Deadpool in the same sentence.
I don't know if
But he was the DJ.
I don't know if I want that bad karma on me. I'll be honest.
Uh-uh.
That's mostly what I'm concerned about, because there's actually a radio show I listen to, a morning show, that they have their Deadpool each week, where they bet fake dollars, which is probably real dollars, on who the next celebrity is to die, and they have to give a reason why. And you know what? I'm not sure I want to be right on that. Well, Suncast has a tip if we do play it. Richard Simmons is in the hospital right now.
Oh, he'll jazzercise his way
He'd
back
be
out of the
sweating it
hospital.
up to heaven.
But I am but one host on the show, so I leave it up to a vote if we're going to be doing it. And there are only 3 of us today, so
So we can't have a tie.
we can't have a tie.
I would say no. Yeah, that's bad karma.
I like the thought of it. I like the gamesmanship, rather, but not necessarily the type of game it is. Let me rephrase.
Yeah. I'll go with that.
But we are playing a fantasy
I'm either
movie
way,
league now.
just some quick minute. Oh, we are.
Yeah, I looked at that this morning, and it looks like I might
Remember
take...
the final?
Go ahead.
Oh, it's just estimates are up right now. We don't have the final.
That is true, and if I go and look at the estimates in our Not-So-Civil War League, let me see if screen share works again real quick. It looks like Chris's Cineplex of Doom is projected to come in second place, which I'll take.
What the fuck? Did I not even make the... I'm in 6th?
You're very
Jesus.
much dead last. You banked on Ninja Turtles. That was the mistake.
Yeah.
And you didn't have two
So did I.
Yeah, because Ninja Turtles cost too much.
I banked
Goddamn
on Angry Birds because kids want to go see Angry Birds still.
Oh yeah, I also refuse to put Angry Birds in my theaters.
Well-
My theaters will not show Angry Birds.
You see, this is why when you play fantasy sports or fantasy movie leagues, you've got to take your personal preference out of play because it doesn't
Nope.
matter how you feel about it.
I win with my pride. I will not start a fucking Oakland Raider. It's never gonna happen.
And that's why he got his ass kicked in fantasy football last year.
I didn't get my ass kicked.
League
I beat
champion.
Wayne.
League champion.
Yeah. you
I
won.
won 2 leagues last year. I was 2 for 2.
Yeah, I don't think you
Where's your
won it by
where's your,
starting Oakland
trophy?
Raiders.
Sorry, Willie, what was that?
Where's your trophy?
We didn't do trophies. I've got a digital one in my Yahoo trophy box, though.
Yeah, we need a Shiva.
You need a Shiba, yeah. So
Shiva.
week 1, it looks like whoever Alex is probably going to win week 1 of the fantasy movie league.
Don't let it go to her head.
Isn't that the girlfriend, Willie?
Yep.
I see. She banked on the chick flick, it looks like. I don't know what movie that is. Me Before You. Oh, this is a total chick flick, because here's the description. A small-town girl is caught between dead-end jobs.
Yeah.
A high-profile, successful man comes wheelchair-bound following an accident. The man decides his life is not worth living until the girl is hired for 6 months to be his new caretaker. Worlds apart and trapped together by circumstances, the two get off to a rocky start. But the girl becomes determined to prove to the man that life is worth living as they embark on a series of adventures together. Each finds their world changing in ways neither of them could begin to imagine. On Hallmark Channel.
Wow, that
It
sounds
is.
like they dumped a bucket
Yeah,
of cliches
it's in-
onto a script.
But you know what? I should have thought about that because
That's
you
why
know
I
what?
picked it.
Yeah, when's the last time there was a lady-centric, lady-friendly movie that was in the theaters that's supposed to tug on the heartstrings?
50 Shades of Grey?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I didn't even put it in my lineup. I'm sitting here, I'm going, oh yeah, that probably made more sense than
Yeah.
putting Money Monster or Popstar in there.
Yeah, one of my movies just says NA beside the total because it hasn't. I guess I don't know what's going on with that. The Lobster with Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh yeah, that was your first mistake, was doing that. Suncast brings up a good point. Magic Mike XXL was probably the last one. And
There
he
you
did
go.
mention that several of his female friends have gone to see the movie already. So that was a miscalculation on my part, and we'll see. I don't remember what comes out this week in theaters for me to determine what I'm going to do. I'll wait and see on Monday. But the Fantasy Movie League, Willie, this was a good find. I've enjoyed it so far.
Oh yeah.
I'll enjoy it once I win a week. Stupid turtles.
Oh, let's be honest. Did anyone really
Hey,
expect
I was
Turtles
there
to-
with you with the Turtles.
Yeah, you two were the only ones that bought Turtles, actually. No one else has Ninja Turtles in our six-man league.
I figured the same amount of annoying fucking kids would make their parents take them to part 2 as made them take them to part 1, and part 1 made a ton of fucking money.
That's what Angry Birds is for, my friend. Angry Birds
Exactly.
is for.
Yeah, but between the two, you would think kids want to see something
But it's
where
like it's what,
a movie
it's
at least where
fourth
something's
week?
going to happen.
Yeah.
Because the new Turtles is also Turtles versus Transformers, apparently, according to the fucking previews.
It is evidently projected to have made $32.5 million this weekend, which is not terrible, but when you compare that to Civil War
That's not
money
good.
or X-Men
Well,
movie,
no. I mean, for a Michael Bay opening weekend, that's awful.
well, he's the producer, not the director, so there's your slight difference in
It
Michael
still
Bay.
looks like a Michael Bay film.
Because
Yeah.
Deadpool was the romantic movie of February. And I'm glad he mentioned that because funny story I saw on comicbook.com. Did you guys see what the #1 ranked romantic movie on Amazon was right now in sales?
Yes,
Deadpool?
I did.
Deadpool. Deadpool is the #1 romantic movie in that
Nice.
category right now, and I had to laugh. Now, granted, there's not much competition. It's going up against like Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies, and My Big Fat Greek Wedding too. But Deadpool is the
Oh,
#1
God.
romantic movie selling on Amazon as we speak.
Deadpool's just awesome. He's unstoppable. I hope they're having fun working on the script for part 2.
Oh, I'm sure they are. Let's be honest. It's Deadpool. They're going to be having fun with it.
So, what dick joke are we writing in today?
Yeah. How do we make this a dick joke? I don't know. We'll figure something out.
Let's just call
Pretty
Deadpool a dick, and we're made halfway.
Well, did you see? I'll touch on this. We can move on to something else. I guess they reused some shots from X3 for like the mansion scene or whatever. And, like someone called Ryan Reynolds out and he's like, "So what? We saved some bucks. We can make more dick jokes. Who cares?" Or
Yeah.
so we could call Francis a bag of dicks. That's what it was.
Yeah, it's the shot of the Blackbird leaving. They used the exact same CGI rotoscope shot of it going up from the basketball court and then going over the horizon. All they did was change the plane.
Hey, if Michael Bay can do it, who cares?
Yeah, no shit. And literally, like,
I
they
know,
just...
I
and
mean, come on.
That's
What is
in
it?
a movie where they just made a joke about not having enough money to have more than 2 X-Men. So reusing a shot makes it even funnier.
That is true.
They should have made that more blatant then.
Oh, wait for the sequel. I'm sure they'll have their opportunity to do so.
Oh, yeah. Then they'll reuse a shot from this first movie.
That will be in my Cineplex.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely.
Well, it will be in everyone's. It'll be very expensive, so you can only have it on one screen. So that it becomes a matter of, is that worth it? I like the strategy of the Fantasy Movie League. I'll be honest. Strategery.
Strategery.
Before we move on, because we were going to talk about X-Men Apocalypse this week, before we do that, I do like to remind folks that All Things Good and Nerdy is a part of a network. It is the Gonna Geek Network. There's 17 different shows on the network right now, so we've got geeky things for all your taste. I'm sure we've got it, and if we don't, we're always looking for additional podcasts to add in. Go to gonnageek.com/join if you have a podcast you'd like to add in. But we do want to highlight one episode on the network, and this week we're going to talk about episode 148 of the official GonnaGeek.com podcast. It's entitled, What to Do If a Comic Book Convention Disappoints You. Hot off the heels of Space City Comic Con, Gonna Geek Network's Lauren joins the crew to discuss some of the troubles which allegedly occurred during the convention. This leads into some great discussion about what to do if a comic book convention disappoints. How do you make the best of it? Lauren has some advice. So I don't know if you guys have heard, Space City Comic Con kind of turned into a cluster F, which ended with one of the guys that runs the con being escorted out by the police. Because evidently,
wow.
Well, So I don't have all the details, and Lauren talks a lot about them in the podcast, so I'd encourage you to go check that out. But one of the big takeaways is the Sons of Anarchy cast was there, most of the actors from Sons of Anarchy. And
Nice.
they pre-sold a bunch of VIP packages to people to come in and get your autographs, and it was pre-purchased tickets to go get autographs, things like that. Well, I guess none of that stuff was valid. They took that money to pay for other things, but they didn't pay for the actors that showed up there.
Oh shit!
So, like, I guess Charlie Hunnam showed up on Saturday. The check they
Ooh.
wrote him bounced because it was to an account that was closed. So none of those guys got paid. All these people that bought VIP packages, everything that was supposed to be good for autographs wasn't any good. So I guess a lot of the actors were real cool about it from what Lauren was saying. They were hanging around the convention. They were still trying to do some of the panel stuff, and they were doing discount prices for their autographs because they knew a lot of people had already paid. And in some cases, Ron Perlman was honoring these bogus autograph coupons because the people had paid for them. And he goes, look, I don't want to screw them over, or something to that effect, and he was signing for them. So there was
Nice.
a lot of crap that happened at Space City Comic Con, it sounds like. Lauren has a lot of information because she was there for day one of it and spoke to it and gave some great suggestions on the GonnaGeek.com podcast on how to handle a con that doesn't quite live up to your expectations. Not necessarily because it's a bad con, but maybe you had overinflated expectations on something in the future. But by all reports, Space City Comic Con was not very good this year.
Yeah, that sounds like it was a bad con. Yeah, and props to Ron Perlman for just basically trying to be a fucking nice guy, even though he didn't have to.
Ron Perlman's
Yeah.
a pretty awesome guy.
He's awesome. But I mean, honestly, a lot of actors in that instance, if you get paid to go to a con, you show up and then you don't get paid. A lot of actors will turn right around and fly out that same day and go to a con that will pay them. Because odds
Right.
are there was another convention that also they could have been at. Because I mean, actors that are that big, like Sons of Anarchy, like they can choose which con they all want to go to.
Yeah, I mean, you got to feel bad for everyone involved in that, especially the fans that
Yeah.
really got screwed. Because I guess
Yeah.
there's an article I was reading online. And I'll see if I can't find it later to share in the show notes or whatnot. That was basically a story of what all was going on there. And some of these folks that bought VIP tickets flew from other countries even to come in and do this, and nothing was valid on those VIP packages, basically, especially the autograph coupons that they were supposed to be included in there. So
That's so shitty.
I mean, you're talking people that spent thousands of dollars to go and do this. And there was one girl that was like, I pre-ordered all this stuff because I knew I could budget for it ahead of time. I could get all my coupons and not have to spend an extra dime when I'm there. So she spent all her money to pre-buy all the autograph coupons, and none of them were good. And I was like, oh, man.
Yeah,
I feel
see,
so
that's
bad
shitty.
for you.
Now, what are the chances she's going to get her money back?
Well, I guess there is talk of a lawsuit being filed, a class action lawsuit being filed against Space City Comic Con. I haven't read a bunch in the past few days about how that's going right now, but it would not surprise me if a lawsuit was filed. There was talk of at least people getting some of their money back somehow. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but by all reports, it was kind of messy. Kind of messy. But that will probably. Let's move on to the next bit here. We did say we were going to talk about X-Men Apocalypse this weekend. Have you all seen X-Men Apocalypse? Is the real question.
Opening
You
day.
are?
Well, I know Anthony did. He sees every Marvel movie opening day.
The streak continues.
Willie, I didn't hear. Did you see it already?
Uh,
That's a no then.
I did.
Oh, did you? Okay. So, what I have to ask you guys, and feel free
Oh,
to
I
go
did.
to spoilers if you want. How did you feel about X-Men Apocalypse?
You want to go first,
So
Willie?
with spoilers?
Yeah, spoilers are allowed. Feel free to spoil.
Oh, I believe I like it, but I gotta say that whole little mid-set or a little bit past midway where they go to Alkali Lake, that was shoehorned in just to have Hugh Jackman in there
I felt like that too.
because they could have done without that at all. There was no call for it.
But tell me this: would that scene have been a lot better if it hadn't been in the fucking preview?
I'm pretty sure I made that argument before
Yes.
it even came out.
It would have been so cool to have that sequence in a film if you didn't know that Wolverine was going to be in the movie at all. I don't know. I've seen so much negative about this film. I'm not sure what people were like if they somehow thought that just because it was a new X-Men movie. I mean, First Class jumped things up a bit, but it's still the X-Men films. It's still Fox. Like, it's not going to be Civil War. Like, maybe I think that was people's problems, that their expectations are getting too high. It was still a Bryan Singer X-Men film. It was great. But yeah, like, there's huge problems in it because it's an X-Men film. That's just a given. I still thought it was really fun, though. Quicksilver still has, a fantastic...
Oh, I liked it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh, yeah, and that. I think they did that a little too much. It seemed like they felt like they had to do it. So, like, well, let's just blow it up 10 times bigger.
Well, yeah, you kind of have to.
Literally.
They had to go bigger than the last Quicksilver scene. And yeah, and this one, like, the fact that he literally saves every kid in the X-Mansion, like, that's fucking a cool idea.
Let's be honest, the effects were cool.
Almost.
No, almost.
Didn't save Havoc. Havoc is dead, or we're left to assume that Havoc is dead.
Oh, well, no great loss.
But technically, he's supposed to be, what, like 40 years old in this movie?
He should be. Sure as hell doesn't look like it.
So, some people were complaining,
he was, what 20 in the 60s in First Class, and now it's the 80s, so 20 years have passed, buddy. You're supposed to look 20 years older.
Yeah, they definitely didn't age the cast very well. That I thought was weird because people were actually complaining online. Why the hell is Cyclops all of a sudden 10 years younger than his younger brother? It's like they said in the movie that Scott was his little brother. They reversed, who the older brother was. It wasn't miscasting. They literally called Cyclops his little brother.
Right, I didn't have any problem with it.
Yeah, people weirded out about strange things. Like, I saw the problem, like, when they originally did First Class, and they're like, we're going to do Havoc first. I'm like, how the fuck can you do Havoc first when he's a little brother? It's like, okay, well, now it's set in the timeline that he's the older brother, then it's fine. Like, it doesn't make sense to be complaining about it the third film that Cyclops shows up. Of course he's going to be the younger brother. That just makes sense now. I think the only thing that really bugged me was that Apocalypse.
I just want to say I'm okay with it.
Yeah, the Havoc Cyclops thing is fine, but the only thing that bugged me was apparently Apocalypse didn't really have any type of mind control over the Four Horsemen, which
he just kind of tricked them into it.
Yeah, in the comics, it wasn't just that he fucking rebuilt their bodies and upped their powers. Like, he literally controlled their minds. Like, he wiped Wolverine's mind when he made him Death for a while. He completely took over Warren Worthington's mind when he made him Archangel. And in this one, the Horsemen are like, I'm with Apocalypse. I'm going to destroy the whole world. Never mind.
So,
like, all they had to do was change their mind, and they all fucking turn on him.
Except Psylocke, evidently, who has no lines, really. I mean, which is fine. I don't really care one way or another. I'm not a huge Psylocke fan. But Apocalypse looked like Ivan Ooze from the Power Rangers movie, I'll be honest.
Now, see, by comparison to the original images, the first straight-up fucking bright purple Ivan Ooze, I was happily impressed by the changes they made to make him look more like actual Apocalypse from the comics.
Here's the thing. Why do you take an actor like Oscar Isaac, who is a pretty damn good actor, and layer him behind tons of makeup and prosthetics so you can't even see his face really move? You don't really get to see him act.
Covering Willem Dafoe with a helmet.
Well, okay, I don't dispute that, and that's been a flaw I've always had with the original Spider-Man movie.
I'm saying at least we got to see Oscar Isaac's face under makeup, but I mean, at least he got to emote, and I thought he played Apocalypse well. I don't think they gave him much to do.
Yeah, he didn't have enough to do, and I thought Apocalypse was dumb with powers that, well, I have this power because I absorbed it from someone once upon a time, and I was like, ugh. So Apocalypse power set was basically whatever plot dictated in this movie.
Yeah, they made him. Well, they made him the villain version of the Deus Ex Machina that is the Phoenix for the good guys.
Yeah.
Just whatever the problem is, a Phoenix.
This is not me crapping on the movie. It's an issue I have with the movie. I don't think it's a bad movie. I'm not one of those ones that's like, oh my god, it's even worse than X-Men The Last Stand. And it's been really weird because the internet reaction is so varied. Some people love it, some people hate it. There is not much middle ground on this one, and I honestly think I'm more of a middle ground guy on this one. Like, I enjoyed it. I didn't have great expectations going in, so it exceeded those expectations, and I enjoyed what it was. Now, do I think it was the best X-Men movie? Absolutely not.
No. But it was fun, and I will buy it. So therefore, it met my 2 expectations for an X-Men film.
Yeah.
So while we're talking about it, I see Jurassic...
Now, I do want to have to ask.
Go ahead, Willie.
I just want to say, did anyone else get a Lost Boys feel when Angel was up in the rafters when Apocalypse comes to him just drinking and the music was playing?
Yeah. A little bit, yeah, when he's all drunk in the rafters. What I was disappointed by the fact that you realize Jubilee is in this movie more than any X-Men film, and they didn't show her use her powers.
Deleted scene, apparently.
Yeah, there's supposedly a bunch of deleted scenes, much like we had with Batman v Superman. Crap ton of deleted scenes.
The Jubilee cut.
Yeah, the Jubilee.
That's what I need, yeah.
For Days of Future Past. But before we move off this topic, Draftsman had some comments in the chat room I did want to get to. He said, X-Men Apocalypse is not so great. I mean, it is what happens when you have a lot of great toys but have very little imagination. I feel it could have been better. We've been spoiled by Disney, which I think is fair. The MCU has exceeded everyone's expectations, and this is not me. I'm a Marvel fanboy, I fully admit it. But let's be honest. Did anyone ever expect what happened with the MCU to happen? Continuing, Dressman goes, I mean, it is not a bad movie, but it lacked proper character development. The new Jean Grey actress is okay. Nightcrawler was good. I loved Nightcrawler. That was one of the things I thought sucked in the original trilogies. We only got Alan Cummings for one movie as Nightcrawler, and he was very good in the role.
Yeah, but I think Alan Cumming had a lot more character development in his one movie than they let this kid have in this one. There's no character development of this Nightcrawler.
There's no character.
Hey, he's getting the shit kicked out of him. Hey, he's over here. Hey, he's over there.
The only
that
character
was the story.
Yeah, the only character development on the new characters is Jean Grey has Phoenix powers.
Yeah, pretty much.
This movie was. Yeah. There was not a ton of character development. This was, hey, you remember this character? Well, we're going to use them in this movie, which is okay. But for the next movie, when potentially you have to be more invested in these new characters, because remember, Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence, and James McAvoy don't have contracts for another movie, and they've all said it's a deal with all of us or none of us.
Yeah, they're doing the favored nations thing, which is smart.
Which is
smart. Because it's much more likely that we'll get them all back.
So the question is, if they don't make that deal, is there anyone in the current X-Men franchise that is going to draw you back for another one?
I really did like Crybaby Sansa Stark as Jean Grey. I liked her version of that character. It's definitely not Famke Janssen, that's for sure, but it is very fitting with a lot of the teen versions of Jean in the comics.
I guess. I don't know. I felt like the new guys they introduced, the only one that really had me super interested was Nightcrawler, and they didn't spend much time developing much other than like, oh, Scott and Jean have powers. They've sort of learned how to use them. In the span of 2 days, Scott's at least got the goggles and can do stuff. And I'm kind of interested to see where that goes, and I like the reveal at the end of, hey, here's your team of X-Men, our first team. And I'm like, okay. I guess it's X-Men second class, but...
No.
Yeah.
Here goes your team dressed in their comic costumes, too. Let's not forget that.
That's true. It was not a bunch of black leather. It was versions of the suits almost.
I'm okay with that, though. I mean, it's kind of ironic when you consider the fact that it was Bryan Singer, whose original X-Men movie in the 2000s is what spawned that run on the X-Men for a while, where they got out of the spandex and multicolored costumes and into the leather, that he kind of flipped it around with this one. I enjoyed that aspect of things.
Yeah, and I liked what they did with Caliban. And a lot of people don't know Caliban from the comics. What, Willie?
Which one's Caliban?
Caliban was the one who was the information broker that Mystique went to, who knew where mutants were.
Yeah.
Because in the comics, Caliban actually has the mutant ability to track mutants.
That is correct.
So making him an information broker who knows where everybody is around the planet, that was a really cool use of that character.
I just felt there was a lot of wasted potential and opportunity with this movie. Dressman touches on something else I'd kind of thought about and hadn't said. He said, the movie lacked a real sense of urgency. We cared about Magneto's storyline. I mean, I cared about some of the motivations of the good guys, but taking over the world. I mean, we have all seen a lab mouse try to take over the world and be more intelligent with less powers. Yeah, Pinky in the brain. I like it. Lack of urgency, I think, is fair. That kind of ramps up at the end.
Yeah, you got to admit. I mean, fucking Apocalypse had a better fucking plan than Lex Luthor.
That requires me to have seen that movie.
Oh, yeah. Make land.
I'll tell you, he did.
I want to make land. But did anyone hear definitely a Bryan Singer directed joke when he said, or when was it Jean Grey said the third movie's never as good, trying to make fun of X-Men: The Last Stand. But then you think about it, isn't this technically the third movie of the new trilogy?
Yep.
It is.
With the reset timeline.
You fucked
Yeah,
up
it was
there.
it was a good self-referential ultra meta joke. It was good. I got a good laugh at it.
It was a nod back to everyone not liking the third one before, and the one thing I'm interested in seeing now is Bryan Singer did all the setup for Phoenix in his original 2 movies. He didn't have a chance to do Phoenix. I'm very curious to see what he's going to get to do with Jean Grey and the Phoenix powers now.
I
Supposedly
don't
going to
give
space.
a shit about the Phoenix. Just get rid of it. Just get rid of it. It's not needed.
Well, I think
not
the
needed
biggest
in these
complaint
movies.
that I've seen
We're
online.
not going to space.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest complaint that I've seen online that people do is they want to do the Dark Phoenix saga, but they want to skip the Phoenix saga and just go right to Dark Phoenix, and that's the problem. You don't really get a full Phoenix saga, and they just want to jump to the part where, Jean's the worst fucking thing in the world and has to be killed. Like, there was a whole lot of storyline in the X-Men comics before she became the Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, there are a ton, and they're kind of skipping ahead. And they did the same thing in the original X-Men movies, let's be honest. They kind of skipped through a lot of that. They did set up very nice in the first movie and half of the second. But so, Suncast has a comment. It's more of a question, actually. He goes, so it was an Avengers type of movie without any setup. I would argue the team aspect of it, they were tried to be like the Avengers, but the X-Men movies have always been kind of team-centric. They don't really need the solo movies like Marvel's done to set up the Avengers groups. I'm not sure. I don't know the right way to say what I'm trying to think here.
Well, yeah, because I mean, the X-Men, it's never done as like solo films, or never done good as solo films, because it's basically it's always a team thing. So there's really no setup of we got to gather the team together the way, the kind of the way that like the Avengers built towards building the team. So yeah, it's a very different style of movie making.
Yeah.
Because yeah, they'll go around and they'll grab a mutant, here or there, but usually it's never. Yeah, it's not 4 different films that lead up to characters being added onto a team. It's just, hey, we're mutants. We're all mutants, so we stick together because we're mutants, and everybody hates and fears us.
That is true. Everybody hates and fears the mutants.
All I know is the next mutant movie I'm looking forward to is Deadpool 2.
We still got a couple years to go on that one, Willie.
Don't shatter my dreams, Chris.
Yeah, but like they're writing it. Like we got a ways to go.
We really do. But that is going to wrap up.
But not you too.
Yep.
That is going to wrap up most of the podcast for today. Oh crap! I just accidentally closed the live stream on Facebook, I think.
Bye, Facebook.
Yeah, we'll see what just happened there.
You're not gonna do that.
Well, I don't know if I did or not. We'll find out later when Facebook craps out on me or whatnot, because I'm not sure what I just did. Go team! All right, so we do need to start wrapping up the show. We'll do that in traditional way. The hell with me trying to figure out what I did to break this. It's a little bit we call What I'm Into. It's our chance to share with you guys in the Peanut Gallery and folks listening at a later date the nerdy stuff we've been getting into and maybe kind of convert you to our cause. I will go first because why the hell not? And I got to go and see Civil War for the second time yesterday to help my box office in the fantasy movie draft, of course. That's why I did it. Not because I want to see it again or anything, I swear. Yeah, and what else did I do? I watched Now You See Me again last night because I just realized the sequel comes out to that movie next weekend, and I forgot how much I enjoyed that movie. Now that I know the twist ahead of time, it made it slightly different watching it. And if you haven't seen the movie, I will not reveal the twist.
But Movie League.
Yeah, it is in the Movie League. It is a movie with many different twists in it, and it's quite enjoyable going through and watching it, I'll be honest. Let's see. What else did I get into? I guess in having to be an adult and things sucking, I had to do some deck repair this weekend because I had 2 boards that had rotted out. So that was what I started doing Friday after work, and then instead of waiting until Saturday morning when it was supposed to be less humid and less hot, I said the hell with it and just worked into the evening and did it all. It wasn't a ton of work, but it made me feel like a successful homeowner.
Nice.
Sometimes I do good
Chris
things.
the Builder.
Yeah, Chris the Builder. I'm not a builder of anything, I'll be honest. not a builder of anything. I just sometimes make things work. That's how it really works. Let's see, what else? I think that's about all I've been getting into. I was wanting to play some video games and stuff, but I got distracted by having to be an adult lately. And it sucked. Willie, what have you been getting into, sir?
Boo. Well, I've been playing Tropico 5 because it was free for the last month of PS Plus, and I forgot all about it. Had a lot of fun. If you like SimCity, it's a good little, nice little thing. I never got to play SimCity, so that was a good surrogate. A buddy of mine's let me borrow, and I'm just started playing yesterday, Bloodborne. Apparently Naki would tell me to play, so. And when I was at Target just the other couple days, I got X-Men First Class, but also got a quadruple set of all the Blade movies. In fact,
Nice.
I guess made for TV House of
Cthulhu.
Oh wait, that's missing a vowel. I'm sorry, my mouth can't make that sound. And other than that, just working, gaming, sleeping. You know, the usual.
All that fun stuff, right?
Oh, of course.
So, Anthony, what have you been getting into, sir?
I got a big stack of comics. So the first is Scotty Young is a Genius. He reprinted a bunch of the pages and variant covers from I Hate Fairyland and turned it into an oversized adult coloring book, which is fucking spectacular because it's just like, you know, little girl blowing up people, fucking Gertie dead with the fairy queen holding her. Just crazy fucking images.
So the coloring
And then,
book stuff, I think, is really cool. I've seen some awesome ones. Like there's a Batman Hush one out there. There's a Civil War one. But at the same time, I'm kind of conflicted because I'm like, you know what? There's already like professional colorists that have done this. I kind of feel like I can never live up to what they've done. So why do I want to color Civil War?
It is weird, but yeah, it seems to be like it's a big thing. And like in the new previews, there was 3 other coloring books that are set to come out.
That's crazy.
That are all comic
It's
based.
so Steven Jandreau can make Captain America into Captain Canada in every Civil War.
There you go. Speaking of which, Civil War II has begun. And Caps isn't in this one. This one is all about Captain Marvel versus Iron Man. Is the two leads. Gorgeous artwork. Who is Marquez? Yeah. Bendis' story is really good. The whole concept of this one is an Inhuman finds out that he has the ability to foretell the future. And so he sees future events and he actually lives them when he sees them happening, and then basically gets pulled back in time, and then he can, you know, go tell people, hey, this is going to happen. So all the heroes get together and are ready for basically a bunch of Eternals show up in the middle of downtown Manhattan, and the heroes are there ready for them to fight them. And then they kick the Eternals' asses, teleport them away, and then all the heroes are getting together basically to party and celebrate and say, hey, we won the day. Now the question is, if this kid can really tell the future, do we go and stop somebody that's going to do something before they do it, Minority Report style, or do you have to wait for a crime to happen before you can hold somebody guilty? And that's what the new Civil War is going to be about, is which side of that discussion you're on.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's fighting pre-crime.
Oh, I mean, that has a simple solution to it. I mean, just, hey, let's let it happen 2 or 3 times. Well, shit, it did happen exactly the way he said it. Boom, we know it. We know the truth now. We'll just do it then.
See, and the argument they have is they end up having they go after Thanos, who the kid finds out Thanos is going to attack the planet. So they attack Thanos when he's still gearing up, and it ends up causing the death of one hero and the near death of another one. And so then they're all feeling bad, even though they beat Thanos. And so then it becomes a question of if they had just waited for the actual attack to happen, if people wouldn't have died. So yeah, it's going to be a real murky one. It's going to be, I think, a lot more back and forth and a lot harder decision than the old Mutant Registration Act that caused Civil War I, where it's either you're pro registration or you're not. That's pretty simple.
I was very surprised who they killed.
Yeah, who they killed and who they almost killed, or possibly killed at the end. Yeah, because by the end of the comic, there might be 2 major deaths in the Marvel Universe, and if so, like, it's a big deal for the Marvel Universe that they basically just restarted to lose these 2 characters. Like, it will have repercussions if they stick to it. So yeah, so it's looking like it's going to be a good story. I'm not picking up all the counterparts. I'm just getting the main 7 issues. But honestly, it's worth it just for Marquez's artwork. His drawings of these fights, these giant epic, all the Marvel heroes attacking Eternals in the middle of downtown Manhattan, and a bunch of people slinging it out with Thanos in a big old brawl. Just gorgeous, gorgeous fucking pages. Then Jeff Lemire has finished his first arc on Old Man Logan. I kept going back and forth on whether or not I really like this story, and now that I see where he's going with it, I'm really interested to keep getting this book. Because basically Old Man Logan makes a decision at the end of this book that's going to make the continuing story much more violent and much more driven. So it's basically at the end of this issue, Wolverine has a Old Man Logan, the Wolverine who is, not Wolverine, but the Old Man Logan in this universe has a very specific mission that he's going to go fucking deal with. So I'm interested to see how that's going to be done. Doctor Strange, The Last Days of Magic Part 3, the Empirical, a bunch of scientists come to Earth and steal and kill all the magic on the planet. Really, really cool storyline, and Chris Pacello's artwork is just gorgeous. He's the perfect artist for Doctor Strange.
I could see it, yeah.
How do you kill all the magic on the planet?
It's basically there's this kid whose parents were murdered because they believed in science on a planet that was all about religion. And so because his parents didn't have faith, his parents were murdered. So that kid grew up to become basically someone who not only believes in science, but has faith in science almost to a religious zealot point, to where he designs science that can destroy magic. Since then, and started killing all the Sorcerer Supremes in the known dimensions. This guy's only goal is to hunt and kill all users of magic and destroy sources of magic itself. So like his creatures are actually made to kill, eat, and devour magicians, magical items. Fucking they burn libraries. Like it's science turned up to fucking crazy. It's an insane storyline. It's really good.
Yeah, if history has proven anything, all great things start with a book burning, right?
Yeah, exactly. Tomboy from Action Lab Entertainment Danger Zone continues to be one of the coolest, most fucked up stories ever. This little girl is kind of a vigilante, kind of a murderer, and fully insane. It's a really good fucking book. Then there was 3 books that I had to pick up just because I had to. Mike Mignola has ended the stories of Hellboy. Hellboy in Hell number 10 came out. It is done.
I love how it ended.
Yeah, it's another great book. It's fantastic artwork. It's Mignola and Dave Stewart. Those 2 together can do anything, and it's worth buying just to look at. But yeah, the storyline has been great. And yeah, it's going to be kind of cool to see how long Mignola's gone from comics, because apparently now he's going to go do watercolor paintings. Like that's what he wants to go do now for a while. And I mean, I'm not really excited to say Mignola's going to be gone doing watercolors, but cool for him as an artist to get to go do what he wants now. And I'm excited to see what he comes back with. Because I mean, Hellboy was a one-shot idea that he didn't think would work. Like he talks about in one of the articles I read, where literally he had a backup character that he designed to give to Dark Horse after Hellboy failed, because he didn't believe that Hellboy would work. Like this is a guy who was never really confident in one of the coolest ideas ever. So yeah, I'm excited to see what he comes back with. Well, it's going to stink that Mignola's gone for a while, but the guy gets to have a break. And I'm excited to see what he comes back with in 5-10 years, because the dude's just he's a genius.
Didn't work, did it?
Yeah, 2 movies, video games,
animated,
statues, animated films. Yeah, Hellboy's an amazing thing, but yeah, like Mignola didn't think it was going to work. He had a backup character designed to take over the stories to repitch to Dark Horse, and yeah, so. The guy just has I think he has too many ideas in his head. He'll be back, and yeah, I'm excited to see what he comes back with. And then I used to be a huge Green Lantern fan. Basically, I'm a Kyle Rayner fan. I'm also a fan of John Humphreys, who wrote, I think it's Fanboys vs. Zombies. So I did pick up DC Rebirth Green Lanterns, which I heard was one of the best of all the Rebirth titles that are coming out. And it's okay. Like, it's a fun issue. The artwork's fantastic, Ethan Van Sciver. New designs on a bunch of suits, new designs on some aliens. But honestly, by the end of the issue, I don't care about either of these two characters, and so I'm not picking up the book. It's just they didn't snag me. It was there's nothing wrong with it, but yeah, I don't care about either character. But then I did pick up Hydra Cap. Steve Rogers, Captain America, #1. What, Willie?
I just laughed.
Yeah, I don't really like the Super Pro suit that he stole from the 90s. It's another goofy ass fucking redesign of Cap's. So yeah, I don't know. Who knows how long it'll last. But I will tell you this: Nick Spencer is a hell of a writer. I can see why the ending pissed people off because it's designed to do that, and he very specifically leads up to that moment on that last page. It's very well written, and I think I have a slight inkling of where he's going with the story, and I think it's going to be really fucking fun to read. This one I added to my pull list. This one issue was good enough to make me add another book to my pull list because this I want to read. What he's doing with Cap is really cool. Yeah, that one's going to be weird. And then I did have to stop at Hot Topic because they released the Suicide Squad Funko Pops, and I found Deadshot with his mask on because the other one with the beard just looks fucking weird.
I found some of them at GameStop, actually. They had a couple different of the Joker ones and Deadshot there. There's a crap ton of
they've got them at GameStop, Walmart, Target. They're all over the place, but then they also have certain places where they have the exclusives, and I got Harley Quinn in her gold gown from Hot Topic. And then the one I really wanted, which, the reason I went to Hot Topic to see if they had it, was the Hot Topic exclusive Joker in a motherfucking tuxedo. And it's just like where's the side image is really nice and clean. But it's the Jared Leto Joker in a full tux. It's fucking fantastic.
I'm not sold on the Jared Leto Joker yet, so
I'm not yet, but I haven't been sold on a Joker since Cesar Romero, and I've always been wrong, so I'll wait to see the movie.
Cesar Romero was such a badass Joker, he didn't even shave off his mustache for the paint.
I mean, it's one of those roles where to have the balls to step into it, you got to think that you're going to be able to do something new and different with the character. And so far, every actor has done that, and we haven't been disappointed. So I'm excited to see what Jared Leto does with it, just because he looks like he's going to be absolutely insane.
That is true.
Yeah. Sometimes you just go balls to the wall.
So
Joker looks fucking nuts.
I did have one last thing I meant to mention earlier. So I was at my local Target last night, and evidently they are clearancing out a bunch of their Logitech equipment there. So if anyone is looking for a Logitech C920 HD webcam, which is what I use, what a lot of folks on the Gonna Geek Network use on their desktops, I picked one up yesterday for $25 off the clearance rack. And if you have not seen them before, I'm showing on the screen share right now. This is the camera we're talking about. It's a very nice camera. So if you
Where was it at?
Targets, it was at Target. I paid like $23.47 or something like that. It was something ridiculous on their clearance rack because they're cleaning out a bunch of stuff. So if you've been in the market for a webcam upgrade for your stuff, this is pretty much the de facto choice for most folks that are using 1080p webcams anymore because it's one of the best ones out there. I've been using it for a couple years now, and now I have a backup for when/if this one gives up the ghost, or if I need two cams for some reason. So go check that out. Check your local Targets. It does go on sale on Amazon from time to time for about $40 to $60, somewhere in that range. But it is a very good.
Yeah, but if you can get it on clearance.
Yeah, if you can get it on clearance, it's a great deal. It's a very much your mileage may vary kind of thing, though. Very much so. But I think that is going to start wrapping things up because we have gone over on time, and that is my fault for trying to make the Facebook Live stuff work, so I started us a little late. As we're getting out of here, a couple things to remember, folks. Don't forget, Naki's running a marathon. So if anyone wants to help support the marathon she's running for charity, go to bit.ly/Naki Marathon, where the N and the M are capitalized at the beginning of each of those words. Don't forget, you can find us online, atgnpodcast.com. We stream live every Sunday at geeks.live, Facebook Live now, and Channel 3 of Alpha Geek Radio at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And the next live show on geeks.live is Monday. That's tomorrow at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the official GonnaGeek.com podcast. But that is going to wrap us up for this week. You guys have any thoughts as we get out of here?
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra, indeed.
No Hell Hydra.
No Hail Hydra.
No Hell Hydra.
We can't agree on hailing or failing or whatnot on this podcast. But folks, we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for watching live, and we'll stay around after the show for a few minutes. Bye. Thanks for listening to this brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, over at live.atgnpodcast.com, Channel 3 of the Alpha Geek Radio app, and over at our network home at GonnaGeek.com/live. If you have any feedback for the show, please contact us, atgnpodcast@GonnaGeek.com, on our hotline number at 304-806-ATGN, or even better, go to Twitter and send us a message at ATGNPodcast. The music you've heard in this show is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at Incompetech.com. So that is going to wrap us for this week. Thank you, everyone who tuned in live and who hung around for my wacky experiment of trying to do Facebook Live at the same time. It seems to have worked. Did you guys notice very many video issues with me during this where I was either freezing up or my voice wasn't coming through well?
Just right at the beginning. That was the only time I noticed it.
I saw a couple comments in the Facebook Live chat that it had frozen, but I'm not sure if that was more of a consequence of bandwidth or not. Who knows?
Yeah, and I've seen Facebook Live freeze when, Stephen Amell or other people do it just because it's Facebook.
Well, and part of that was what's going on with that is they're using their phone and using the phone app for this, and what we're doing in this case is I am using OBS to broadcast directly to Facebook with this, so we're going through a slightly different path than how they do Facebook Live. Drasman said he didn't notice any issues with it either. And if you guys hadn't seen, I'll try and bring it up full screen here since we're in the post-show. What I'm doing for that live screen so you guys can see who are watching this show is... There we go. So this is what a Facebook Live user is going to see, is those two next to each other in the chat room. And I don't think the chat room came through near as well as I was hoping because of the quality.
It's like it had a longer delay.
Yeah, it didn't really make it clear enough to read very well, I don't think. It might do so in the replay, but who knows? Because I was sending the 1080p stream to Facebook on this one. So we'll see. I don't know.
Fun to play with.
It's another way to get out there, and I can see the stats right now. I mean, for an experiment, and this is all inside metrics, peak live viewers, we had 3 live viewers simultaneously at the same time, which is great for trying. It was watched a total of 36 minutes. We had 34 unique viewers, 46 video views, and 22 10-second views. So we had people hang around and check out a few things. I saw a few comments come in on there as well, but it worked out better than I was expecting. So thank you everyone who did check us out on Facebook Live. If you go and pull it up on Facebook, it says 191 people reached with 9 comments. So
nice. Yeah, from what I've seen between like Facebook Live and Periscope, if you're not specifically doing it to just that audience and you're not responding to their comments, you're usually not going to get people to hang around.
Yeah, well,
if you're not already a celebrity.
This was an experiment. We'll see what happens. It's coming out of the ATGN Facebook page. And anyone who's watching on Facebook right now, we're going to kill the live feed right now, though. So we'll see you guys next week. Please feel free to watch us on Facebook or Geeks.live next week.
Nice.
And the Facebook feed is dead, maybe.
Supposedly.
Well, I killed it on OBS, so it stopped streaming, but it is not ending on there. We are still on Google. I'm going to kill it on Google. Thank you, everyone who did watch us live. We'll see you next week.